keep banning it out. Other teams have done that in the past where they just identified one strength on the opponent's side and they ban it out continuously. So first pick, second pick, I think on from this perspective of Trick, it would still be absolutely understandable if they get rid of Medivh here.
Well, it's ban time. Let's find out if that Medivh gets deleted. Will they choose to maybe ban out a tank instead? They'll leave that Medivh open. Will they even attempt to risk it? I'm thinking right now.
There's always a couple of mind games. If, for example, you're okay to play with Medivh, let's just play this game a little bit longer, no matter what they do here. If you're okay with Medivh, then you can not ban out Medivh. And then Zealots are now in a position where they have to, if they ban Phoenix, you pick Medivh on the first spot. If they do not ban Phoenix, then now you have your choice. You can either go for Phoenix or you can go for Medivh. But that always, of course, assumes that you are in a situation where you want to have Medivh if you can't get Phoenix. And so we are exactly in that spot. Phoenix and Medivh. Medivh taken by Trick, and that's exactly that spot. So Trick banning Abathur, great pick against great ban against Zealots still. And keep in mind, Trick banned Abathur in part 1 every single game.
Sure.
The entire time. So now they ban him out here, they had problems with him in the last game, and they put Zealots in a spot where they basically tell the Zealots, okay, you can have either one of two, can't have them both. Yeah. So Trick taking Medivh, again showing that they don't prioritize Phoenix that heavily. And now the Zealots, how do they react? Phoenix first pick, or do you not go for it?
Now let me ask you the question here. Does Zealots pick up Phoenix with the idea of Medivh being on the opposing side? Because Medivh empowers that ability for you to dive onto a target. And Phoenix, while a portal comes out, he'll have that one-up time of trying to warp away. And at that point, you have a Garrosh coming through with a taunt, trying to take you out right away. Are Zealots willing to go down that route here? They're thinking about it.
If you want to pick Phoenix, you can still pick Phoenix with Garrosh here to prevent exactly what you just mentioned. Make sure that that portal onto Phoenix and then a taunt is not available, so you take that away. Diablo is already banned out, and there we have exactly that. Phoenix and Garrosh, so exactly that opening.
Does Varian come out now? Suddenly. Varian with the Shield Breaker, he gets the ability to taunt as well at level 4. He can start to force his fights early. I think this would be a good time to maybe bring out that Varian.
I feel if you take Varian, you would bring him in later.
Sure.
There is still a chance, as we've seen before, that Varian gets banned out. But yeah, if your entire concept that you're trying to run is we want to burst someone down, we want to go for Phoenix, then Varian would be a good addition. And he can, to an extent, also take the solo lane now, of course. Depends on who's on the other side and how much of a macro pressure the draft presents for your opponent. But Abathur is already taken away, so a lot of that macro pressure is already gone. So there's definitely a couple of really cool options for Trick now available, and one of them is, of course, what you just pointed out, like playing around the Varian and playing around the second taunt.
What a fun draft that we have already. I'm ready to see what exactly Trick Esports is going to pull out. You also have to consider that Uther. Are we going to ban him out? Will it get picked up instead for Trick Esports to try and keep that away? Because that Uther really kept Phoenix alive.
I just love how many layered things we have here right now. Because, again, the mind game around banning out Abathur, not banning out Medivh, then Diablo gets banned, then you have both heroes available, then Trick goes for Medivh instead. Garrosh being picked, always a great pick for Zealots. They want Garrosh, but in this case, it's even another layer since they want to take it away from Trick, since they know that a portal on top of Phoenix with that taunt would just result in a quick kill. Now Hanzo being taken again, very heavily prioritized by Trick. This is the third time now that we have Trick playing with Hanzo, and Malfurion here, of course, too. Which also takes one tool away from the Zealots to control portals. So there is now a chance that we see even Stukov banned out. If you feel like your portal ability is really what's going to be the most important tool that you have in your arsenal in this game, then getting rid of the silence, getting rid of the lurking arm would be another possible way to go when Trick heads into their second ban. Just making sure that whatever they do with the portals, they're going to be in a good spot.
Don't forget about main takes too. ETC and Nubrek be taking out for Zealots to make it a little bit harder for them. They decide to target out that top lane instead. Sonya being deleted here from Zealots. Now Trick Esports, what are you going to ban out? The Uther, the Stukov, all valuable choices that you mentioned could be strong here for them.
Can also still consider, okay, what are possible heroes that can put us into trouble from a macro perspective? Is there a way or a world in which we are going to try and ban a global? Don't really think there is, but it's always the thought process that you at least have to have. Cage is another thing that they are trying to get rid of, like zone control. And Maiev being banned out by them. AD heavily targeted here. Medivh picked away from him. We have Abathur now also banned away from AD, and AD has played Maiev in the past to an extent, so another hero. Are we going to see him again on Tassadar now?
Yep.
Is that what they are forcing them into the double support setup?
Tassadar, in a rough situation, he can also pull out the Genji if he needs to. So
Yeah.
he's played a little bit in the past, and that's up and available. Also helps chasing down portal kills that may have not popped out, and he has some damage in.
And if you go into Tacita, all of a sudden Varian is even more attractive.
Yeah. Exciting stuff here. What about that top lane? What do we get here for Zealots to help control that Medivh?
They're the ones that banned out Sonya, so they didn't want to ban out, they didn't want to play with Sonya. Thrall is coming in, and Stukov. Thrall is just getting more momentum now in Europe, being played a lot more. We've been talking about how he had huge troubles coming into last week, how all of a sudden he started to pick up a lot of victories, was very highly prioritized, and that trend just continues. Thrall with the build around the Echo of Elements, very powerful at this point in time.
His ability to soften up your opponent and then force a fight is just really unmatched in that top lane. It's so great being able to bring in that Chain Lightning, you fall up into that Wolf, and then right when you want to decide the fight, both your heroics are great tools depending on what your opponent's face it off against. I love Thrall, man. He really delivers.
Yeah, he certainly does right now, and he was also the main damage dealer in the previous series, so that was very impressive too. But here comes the last two picks. We need a main tank and we need an offlaner. So the question is, are they going to really try and play around that taunt? Is that the thought process here? And who's going to be that frontline main tank? Are they looking for another CC? It could be Blaze again, and Nubarak and Leo. Okay, not 100% what I expected. I thought more along the lines of maybe Muradin, since he's a bit more hit point heavy. But Nubarak for the aggression still works. You have Malfurion around it too. Leoric for the side soak, so Alex going to be making sure that he soaks 2 of the lanes as much as he can. Trying to, of course, also aim for the level 20 when he has his silence in. That's going to be a great tool to lock Phoenix down even harder.
I'm disappointed. I wanted to vary him in.
Yeah.
Shieldbreaker one-shot that Phoenix, taunt him down.
I mean, Tacita, right?
Yeah.
Zealots still need ADRD's hero. And ADRD normally, when you look at what we have and what is banned out, what's taken, it would immediately bring you back to a Tacita setup, and they already have shown a double support Phoenix. But they're really hesitating for a long time.
Tracer?
Okay!
Is ADRD on the Phoenix? Because you put Chris on Tracer. 100%.
Has to be.
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
what I expected.
No. No, I don't think any of us expected that.
Yeah? They were, like, this is the team that really has the most affinity towards a double support setup. And they just said, nope, no Tacita. But again, we talked about ADRD being heavily focused here in the draft a lot because his Medivh picked away, his Abathur banned out, and a second ban coming in against Maiev, which we've seen him play too. So now all of a sudden we're going to see him on, on Phoenix, and we're going to find out how much of an impact he's going to have with Phoenix compared to Chris, who's going to be on Tracer.
And now suddenly Phoenix should have an easier time in that backline with Tracer zipping around. She suddenly takes priority in the team fight.
Create space.
You're trying to control her. She does create so much space, and Phoenix at the same time should be pelting away and really helping on this team fight. So I'm kind of excited how this will mix up for our team. Zell's definitely bringing out a little bit more of aggressive type of play style.
And also this is the moment when I said, damn, should have gone for Varian after all.
Should have gone for Varian.
His lack of wave clear is just his biggest downside.
Yeah.
And the wave clear they added with Leoric is, of course, absolutely massive. But that also means that once we have level 20 in play, of course, looking at the late game here, yeah, the Entomb is going to be brutal. Buried Alive is going to be very strong against all these heroes. Game number 3, ladies and gentlemen. The series is tight. Tricked and Zealots are toe-to-toe here so far. And to the left, we have Tricked Esports with Grand Paquete on Malfurion, Crosby on Hanzo, Alex, the Pro G on Leoric, Marco on Medivh, and Remabola on Nubarak.
On the right, in the red, Mopsio on Garrosh, Zarmany on Thrall, Shad on Stukov, Chris on Tracer, and ADRD. We're showing off some Phoenix gameplay. 3 games in a row and 3 Phoenix picks for the Zealots.
Mopsi's nickname from a German perspective is always funny.
Mopsios?
Yeah, Mops in German means chubby guy.
Oh.
So I have no idea if that in any way translates into Polish, if that's a bit of a play around that. So
What does
that's
EO
kind of
mean?
funny. Huh?
What does EO mean in German?
I mean, if you want to have a bit of cuteness, there's a lot of words where you can attach an I towards the end, and then there's a bit of a cuter version of it. So yeah, it could actually just mean that. And it's just kind of funny because he also plays the front line, you know?
Yeah.
And let's face it, most of our front liners are a little bit on the chubby side.
Well, EO in English is a part of a lyric to a song called Old MacDonald. So chubby old McDonald's.
Such a dork.
Chris, by the way, is in trouble.
Yeah, but he gets still out of it. But that was a good route from Grand Paquette, very heads up, making sure that Tracer had a bit of trouble here. Didn't really result in a kill, but already showed Chris that he needs to be careful because there's heads-up play on the side of Trick. Yeah, Zarmany should be definitely dead. If he gets out of this one, that would be an insane escape, but he can't make that happen. Even the War Chief is not able to survive here.
War Chief taken out, that top lane taking a lot of damage, but Zealots respawn by grabbing their sappers to the bottom right. One of the things you can do when your top lane gets pushed in is make sure to grab something else on the map, and Zealots are just doing that. And this will enable them to possibly invade their opponent if they would like, as they get their sappers a bit early. They're going to play it on the safe side, though, and just get that bottom lane pushing in.
We still have advanced targeting taken on level 1 for Phoenix, so in case you tuned in a bit later, we have seen a very stable build so far for the hero with slight adjustments, especially around the level 4 talent, where it is all about either survivability with the movement speed after your shield depleted, or trying to get mobility through chase potential by working in auto attacks. We're going to talk about that later, but so far the Phoenix build seems to be pretty clean cut, at least the hallmarks of it. So that's something to keep an eye on. Outside of that, with level 4 talents coming in, we have already a couple of steps. Talking Phoenix, that was a quick kill.
And it was. ADRD destroyed there on the bottom lane, unable to escape. Trick Esports take the time to bring their sappers in the turrets and grab some experience, jump up to that level 5, and they're looking to keep a little bit more here. Maybe grab the second turret, which would be a nice chunk of experience for them early.
Yeah, really nice and quick kill that we just saw against Phoenix. So once again highlighting, of course, that if you burst him, he is going to be in trouble. The emergency protocol is being taken again on level 4. That's again the passive variation where you get your movement speed after your shields are gone, so it gives you a chance to move away from it. Also, Remaball has to move away from that push against the bell tower here at the bot lane, but Trick Esports in this third game is definitely showing aggression from the get-go and trying to put Zealots into a defensive position once again.
Now they are. Trick sets up camp here on the south altar. Looking to poke a little bit. Thrall in the middle actually to soak this lane, which means Leo will get the top left altar. Can maybe dissuade him to move over to the top right. Medivh gets tossed into a pulse bomb, able to survive the pulse bomb, but not so much on the silence.
Yeah, and that's of course resetting his stacks as well. Great play by Shat here as well. Double kill as Remaballer goes down. The 4-man so far in favor of the Zealots. The entire setup that we're seeing here is of course very much centered around 4-man aggression. Since Leoric is in a spot where he is soaking 2 lanes, moving from one to another, mid and top, especially with Neil Peasants on level 4, getting that extra wave clear. Thrall is trying to mirror these rotations that we're seeing from Alex, and they're trying to push him low. But outside of that, it's all about the 4-man that we're seeing outplaying at the bot lane.
Yeah, Leo is going to be able to wave clear a little bit faster than Zarmany. He can drop off that wolf, but the upfront damage from Thrall is quite aggressive, especially with that level 7 coming online. Moving into that Ancestral Wrath, if he finishes up those stacks, he should be able to trade out on Leo pretty quickly. So that'll be a fun lane to watch out. Might need some help from a new bracket to make sure to soak in those lanes. And sappers come up again as Zealots head over and start to grab those to get them pushing. And the good news is, too, Zealots are actually in a pretty solid spot with those kills. Yeah. Remember, they lost those turrets in those bottom right. They're actually ahead in experience, which means when they grab their own turrets, they're going to jump up pretty quick.
Zealots were behind up to the point where they dominated that fight bot lane. So Trick has taken the lead at the beginning, but then that fight turned things around. Not only because there was a second salvo of shots being fired against Trick's core, but of course the double kill and the momentum gained by it allowed the Zealots to take that lead and experience you've just been talking about. And Mopsio is going in again, and Remaballer doesn't have his cooldowns ready, so he's in trouble. The pulse bomb against Grand Paquette nearly takes him down, but Malfurion moves out. But here comes another quick stun against Nuburak, and he is dead. The Beetle wants to go in. It's not really a hero that you want when you are on the retreat.
ADRD is just left uncontested. Chris being able to hold that frontal area of the fight because he's able to zip around a lot just allows ADRD to sit back and just constantly bring out those auto attacks. And they're going to get an early game bell tower right before this altar. Yeah,
that game flipped quickly. It was the fight early, and now the momentum has been carried towards one of the bell towers. They grabbed that. This is a really dire spot for Trick to be in. There's another one about to be grabbed here. Aggression against Zarmany up at the top, but it's unlikely that Thrall is going to fall there. Oh, he's actually face-checking the bush, and that's never a good idea. There's a good video out there that you guys can watch, and Zarmany should probably take another closer look at it too, because he is down.
It's an oldie, but it's a goodie. Check it out, man.
Yeah, I heard that we too are playing a bit of a main cast role in there.
Yeah, probably some of the best actors you've ever seen in Heroes Esports.
Oh, And Tim's run, of course, away from the bush is still absolutely, I mean, that's outstanding.
Yeah, that took 3 takes, man. Oh, more arms.
More flailing.
More flailing. 10 hits here for Zealots, and they are pretty far ahead. My gosh, grabbing this bottom bell tower. Sapphire's pushing already. Trick Esports desperately looking for 10 themselves, and then they hope to win a team fight soon.
And of course, you have now also Shed available here. Another quick shove, basically just saying, get the hell out of here. We want these zappers to go through. Not quite happening just yet, though, but the silence alone is a bit of an issue. Remabola can still work around the stun, but nope, there we go. Double shot fired. And we are down to 24 points on Trick Esports core. They have that 10, though. Maybe that allows them to get back into this. But yeah, the momentum for the Zealots is very, very impressive here. Even though in experience, they're not too far ahead.
Yep, there's always the Nubrak factor of finding a target, cocooning out the support.
Yeah, and at this point, there's the Entomb, and they're just saying, oh, the arrow across the map. They hate Zarmany. And there's a Tracer kill, too.
They hate everybody. They killed Chris and Zarmany. Trick Esports bringing out the hate today, deleting 2 targets.
At this point, if you're a Zarmany, you're just sitting there and you're just saying, really? But great targeting on the rotations. I mean, yes, Zarmany died for the second. Nice kill here also against Garrosh. Well done by Trick. Good Moonfire from Malfurion. Job well done. And the momentum shifts again. I'm loving this game. This series is fantastic. Back and forth the entire time.
But bottom left bell tower is still grabbed. Which
Yeah.
means if Zelt's able to get down here and delay a couple times, they'll have all 5 up to fight. Thrall already went back to the top lane, meaning they're willing to give this up. But Zealots still have that map control, so only 3 shots will head over for Trick Esports.
And let me quickly talk about the pickups against Thrall. Now, of course, the first one, he assumed he was only facing off against Leoric. He didn't have the vision. He went into the bush and got taken out. But the second one was Trick targeting him specifically on the rotation. We talked about how both teams have a hero that is attempting to get the experience on 2 lanes. And so they aggressively moved in and caught Thrall as he was rotating from the mid to the top lane, trying to keep the experience up. And that was very well done from Trick to interrupt the rotation here. But Zealots, they are fighting back. They're still holding onto the bell tower here. Good Entomb. Zarmany gets back, and the arrow is just a second too late here. Great attempt by Trick, but the timing was a bit off. And now Remabola. There is Silence already used to control the portal, but Anubarak this time is able to survive and move out of harm's way.
Both teams saving their teammate there. Trick Esports able to also start positioning to give the spell tower on the bottom left. Scatterarrow comes out with ADRD. Shredding through the shield. DX goes straight to the heroic as well, looking for some damage. Crosby gets low. Garrosh comes in to force a fight, but luckily Cocoon comes out. Yeah,
and also we nearly saw Phoenix fall here, so ADRD had to be careful, but Chad helped him out right away. We have Alex pressuring the mid lane pretty aggressively. He should actually try and stop Thrall a bit on that rotation. Thrall even considering going down the safe path, and that's exactly what he does. Double checks quickly, moves away from the bush. So Zarmany learned his lesson from earlier, trying to play this a bit safer since he knows that there is a chance Trick is setting up these traps again.
2 Entombs in a row. We'll do that to him, man.
And Entomb, again, we talked about that 20. Buried Alive is going to be a massive, massive problem in the later stages of that game. No matter who it hits, no warp available for Phoenix, no moves on Tracer to get out of it too. We've already seen the impact that good Entombs can have here with the Hanzo Arrow as the follow-up. And if you get Buried Alive, there's just no way that you can save that target. So after 20, if Alex gets these engages again, Zealots could be in a bit of a weird spot. So in an ideal world for the Zealots, they would push Trick in a very defensive position, maybe grabbing a few additional bell towers so that the 20 doesn't even matter as much anymore.
And we're pretty close here. 20 to 29 in shots, 14 to 13 in terms of experience. Even Talontiers here for Zealots, they want to force a fight. The next altar phase will be the 3 altar phase, so we're intending to have a couple of fights on the map.
Thrall, again, a bit aggressive here. The thing is, the Entomb this time missed by Alex, but you could see on the minimap that Hanzo was shortly behind him.
Yeah, he was ready.
So he was ready for that arrow. If Alex connects here with the Entomb, Zarmany, of course, also knew this is something coming. That could have been a kill, but talking about kills, Tracer getting away, and they take her down. Great portal again by Marke, well played here. Tracer at first able to zip out of the fight, but then the immediate chase initiated on the side of Medivh. Great play, and they're going for more. They go for ADRD, you're absolutely right.
Warp is going to be up soon, doesn't matter. Phoenix gets picked off, another pickup by Hanzo, and now Trick can turn around and grab the boss, and they do. Scatterer build coming in, thanks again Hanzo and his arrows. Able to clear that up quickly. This will give them 4 more shots, and that will bring Zealots a little bit closer in line with the core shots that they have.
Trick is definitely playing around pickoffs now, and they're doing it extremely well. I really like the setup that they're currently using with this. Also, from a damage perspective, again, Phoenix is just not delivering to an extent that a lot of people expected here. Also, Zarmani up here at the top. There's the Entomb. They're trying to go for him, but they have to be a bit careful. Remaballer is there. Chris is low, but they can't go for the kill here. They don't commit. Triple Alter is alive at the same time, so they need to be a bit careful. Here comes Mopsio. Mopsio on Garrosh. Can he get that flip? Yes, he can. Do we have the cooldown ready? Yes, Burrow Charge is available for Remaballer, and he gets out of this one. Already, Alex on the move into the middle, trying to get another one. 15, nearly 16 for Trick Esports. If they can stall this out a bit longer, they might be able to grab the 16 talent. Here's the first Altar, already captured by Zealots. And again, the move against Mopsio here. Remaballer is close. He gets the stun, and there's the kill.
He gets a kill, but Tracer right now is grabbing the Altar for a few more shots. Another kill goes over to Trick Esports, so while they're slaying, the damage still goes over from Zealots, and they get 2 of the Altars, jumping up and score 25-12.
Which also means that Trick has to really deliver with the momentum they just built up.
Yeah.
You need to get the middle. You want to have this, or at least push it out. You have your 16. You are ahead in experience. Trick has taken the 16 tier talent, and they are nearly 2 levels ahead. Their 20, as we said, is going to be amazing against the lineup that Zealots have here. But they also need to make sure, since they just gave up to Altars, that they get a bit more out of it. Massive push at the top lane. Good push in the mid lane. They haven't taken the top left yet. So what they really want to do is try and take a bell tower and then grab it. But for now, Zealots are with 5 man on the field, so you have to be careful. You have the talent advantage, but you can't go too deep with this.
Trick Esports is set up for a domino effect later on. They win one more team fight, they can take all 3 of these bell towers and then start sieging down their opponent, and then Zealots will have a hard time actually coming back in the matches. They'll have to clear those up, but at that point, they should be taking a lot of core shots. I like what they're setting up here. It's just a matter of whether or not they can win another team fight.
And there was the patience that we talked about. Trick has taken the middle bell tower, and then Leoric moved to the top and says, okay, now I take it. 5 shots fired, 20 on Zealots core. And this is really the moment when you want to still push. You have that talent tier advantage. There's the trade in the mid lane. Zealots are heavily focusing on recapturing the bell tower, which means that the bottom is open. You can take bottom lane control, and that's also where you still have 2 zappers available that you can now use to try and move through and maybe even commit a few shots to the core. And it also creates space for Leoric at the top lane.
It'll be great for them if the 2 altars spawn on the bottom, and they do. 1 altar in the middle, 1 in the south. Great positioning here for Trick Esports.
Alex is taking the top camp.
Yep, he's working on the sappers. He just wants to keep Zealots ping-ponging around. They're
Yeah.
going to bobble between the top and the bottom lane.
And right now, of course, still a rotation. Look how careful Thrall is. Thrall actually moving just at the top. Super cautious, all of them. Playing around vision is what's really important to both teams at this point. But of course, the bottom bell tower, this is the thorn in the Zealots' side, and they are trying to recapture it as we have the pressure play in the mid lane. Again, trying to get the trade. And Leoric wants even more at the top lane. They're trying to get 2.
Forget the Thorn. They're about to have a tree branch in the middle of their foot. Look at this. 1 bell tower at the top, 2nd bell tower taking down the bottom. Zealots in a position where 2 altars are about to spawn. This is becoming really hard to manage.
Yeah, this is absolute money on the side of Trick. Zealots need a fight. They need to win a fight right now. They want to force a fight. They're way too far behind. They can't wait here. They're 2 levels behind. And they need to make sure that also these 2 altars don't end up both in the hands of Trick. Then that's a massive problem for them. The poke is starting. Trick can play this slow. They have interrupt potential. And they're going to try and use it. 1 single altar would already be amazing for Trick. If Zealots get an altar, it's only 2 shots. Trick doesn't even care about that, even though they're down to 12 points. Alex with Ominous Wraith is going in, and here comes Thrall with the Earthquake.
Earthquake comes out, Thrall is the target, he gets silenced, and he is taken out. Chris is next. Stukov gets hit with a cocoon. There's also a portal up so they can focus him down as it comes out. Will Mopsio be able to save him? He throws Medivh to the back right. Medivh with the force of will able to sidestep out though. Chris goes in for the kill. Mage gets sniped by ADRD. ADRD looking to maybe grab Crosby too. He even teleports in.
Teresa, again, Medivh lost the stacks here, but ADRD is in trouble. He should fall here. Remaballer is going for it, and that's the kill. 3 against 1. That's the trade they were hoping for. Double altar is now in here. Maka losing the stacks on Medivh, of course, a big issue, but still, they're going to take this one easily. That's 6 shots fired per altar. So we are going to see Zealots drop down to 8 points, and they still don't have the bell tower control.
They might lose the bottom one too. Tracer and Stukov are working to get the bell tower in the middle, but they don't have the most upfront siege damage. A couple more shots will go over to Trick.
10 seconds on the boss. 10 seconds on the boss at this point. Bottom is now about to be taken. They just in time recover the mid lane. But it's map control that matters. And the 20 is there. Buried Alive is now in the hands of Alex. And we talked about how big of a tool that is. We have the Glyph of Polybomb also taken. There's so many amazing tools. Rewind as well. The 20 is insane for them.
And Trick gets 6 sappers pushing to the south. And Zelt will have to defend that, obviously, which means this boss is easy for picking. Or they can move straight into bell towers, and they choose the bell tower option. The middle one starts to be focused. They're all working on the top lane, and Trace is working on the south, and they're spreading their resources.
You get the bell tower in the middle and you move for boss. You have vision.
Yeah.
You know where they are. And already the portal is there. The portal is there immediately. They know that they can go for boss now. They have the time. So at the top, the recapture is happening. But vision is available. Trick knows that at the bot lane, Phoenix and Tracer are still in place, so they have an easy boss to grab, and shots are being fired. Down to 7. They got 1 through. This is 4. 3 on the Zealot side, and the 20 is still there, the Talented advantage. And Trick just doesn't let up. They just move in, camp. One mercenary after another, keep the pressure up, and then trade bell towers. Keep trading bell towers.
And here's the best part too, is Zelda just chases them around constantly. And with 2 altar spawning, Trick will only need 1. But they also have to defend these sappers that are pushing in the top. The sappers go straight in for the bell tower, and that gets cleaned up right away. So now Zelda are in a spot where they have to win a team fight and deny 2 altars.
Yeah, and we have Cocoon, we have the Polybomb, and we have the Silence. The 20 on the side of Tricked Esports is absolutely insane. The Rewind alone is great.
And Nubrak's bottom, Entomb to stop anyone from rotating down.
Silence.
Zarmny blinks over, Polybomb as well, and Nubrak going for the channel, but he might be a little bit too late. Medivh coming in there to harass consistently. ADRD is on his way. Can he stop a Nubrak? No,
that's a
not
kill.
in time. A Nubrak gets it, a kill comes out, but it doesn't matter. Tricked Esports grabs the win and goes up 2-1.
Trick with great play here, and I mean at the end there was a lot of potential for Zealots to maybe win the team fight, but they couldn't at the same time deal with the bell tower itself, with the altar. Great play here, and that's how you want to build the momentum on this map. You trade the bell towers the entire time. They could grab the boss. It was fantastic play on the side of Trick here, really well done. And a lot of it around these kills that we've seen with Entomb into Enhancer Arrow, so job well done here.
The picks just plagued the Zealots. 13 kills here for Trick Esports, and we were in a situation where Zealots were actually pretty far ahead in map control, but it didn't matter. It caught up to them.
Yeah, the kill count that we've seen here, damage output of course as well. ADRD on Medivh, on Phoenix. Phoenix so far in HGC not really having the track record that people expected. What happened before we headed into this weekend? Everybody was talking about how how Phoenix is going to be an insta ban every single time. That's not happening here. He's currently at 1 win and 2 losses. So Phoenix currently not really delivering to the extent that people expected. And a lot of these teams, well, not a lot of these teams, we've only seen 2, but Trick seems to have a really good idea of how to deal with him.
Sure.
And they didn't even first pick him. They said, you can have him. We don't care. We want Medivh. And even with Marke never really completing the quest, the portals alone posed such a big threat into those backlines. The chase that we saw after the warp came in from ADRD, I was trying to escape, was just great play, and they just have Phoenix number so far.
One of the things that Mopsy talked about in the interview is whether or not Alex will be stepping up this weekend, because that's a big deal for Trick Esports, and Alex stepped up majorly there in game number 3, delivering the Entombs, finding the rotations on Zarmny. Zarmny in the Thrall was in a situation where he was going the long route just to stay alive, which eventually means every rotation may be missing a minion or 2, which is slowly getting them behind in experience. Great pressure there from Alex as he continues to deliver for his team. Trick Esports today is just a well-oiled machine, and it's great to see.
And again, at the same time, you have to also think about the standings right now. This is a series where, from Trick's perspective, there's not a lot happening here. If you win, you can't really improve your position for the playoffs too much. If you lose, there's nothing happening either because you just defeated Leftovers, so you're not in a position where you can drop into the Crucible. This is, as Grandpa said, we want to gain information here. We want to see how the meta works. We want to see how Phoenix works. We want to make sure that for the playoffs that we are ready, that we can do whatever, like that we can just show a couple of strategies, maybe experiment a little bit so that we're ready for the playoffs. For Zealots, there's a lot on the line. If they lose now, Fnatic's position is getting better and better to qualify directly for the mid-season brawl.
Method as well.